Niccolò Machiavelli is infamous for one reason: his brutal approach to power. His most well-known work, The Prince, pushed rulers to focus on what's effective, not what's morally right. In fact, he advised leaders to ditch ethics entirely when it came to gaining and maintaining power. If that meant massacring families, lying, manipulating, or even doing the dirty work themselves, so be it. His philosophy wasn't about kindness or justice. It was about doing whatever necessary to stay in control. This perspective shocked the political world of his time and continues to spark debates in modern political theory. Machiavelli's reputation has been polarized for centuries. Some view him as a pragmatist, a man ahead of his time, while others see him as the embodiment of political cynicism. What is undisputed, however, is the profound impact his writings had on politics and leadership. His name has become synonymous with manipulation and realpolitik, a term used to describe political strategies that prioritize power over principle. But to truly understand the legacy of Machiavelli, we must first examine the historical context that shaped his worldview, the core of his philosophy, and how his ideas have influenced both past and present political leaders. Born in Florence, Italy in 1469, Niccolò Machiavelli entered a world torn apart by political instability. At the time, Italy wasn't a unified nation. It was a fractured mosaic of city-states, each vying for power. Florence, where Machiavelli was born, was a major cultural and economic hub, yet it was constantly caught in political turmoil. The Medici family, one of the most powerful dynasties in Italy, ruled Florence until 1494, when they were overthrown. This political chaos deeply influenced Machiavelli's perspective on power and leadership. As a young man, Machiavelli witnessed firsthand the rapid shifts in power that could occur when ruling families were overthrown or when armies marched into cities. The political landscape was a volatile and dangerous environment, and Machiavelli quickly understood that survival in such an unstable world depended not on morality, but on strength, cunning, and ruthlessness. In 1498, at just 29 years old, Machiavelli was appointed to a position overseeing Florence's foreign affairs. This role placed him in the heart of the political and military maneuvers of his time, and it was during this period that he developed his keen understanding of power dynamics. His work involved negotiating with foreign powers, navigating alliances, and securing the city's position in the constantly shifting political landscape. However, in 1512, when the Medici family regained control of Florence, Machiavelli was accused of plotting against them. He was imprisoned, tortured, and ultimately exiled to his country estate, a humiliating fall from power that would shape the rest of his life. Machiavelli's downfall did not signal the end of his influence. In fact, it marked the beginning of his most productive period as a writer and thinker. During his exile, he turned his attention to writing about politics and the nature of power. His most famous work, The Prince, was intended as a political treatise aimed at providing guidance to the ruling class on how to navigate the treacherous waters of leadership. He dedicated the work to Lorenzo de' Medici, hoping to regain favor with the powerful family that had once exiled him. In The Prince, Machiavelli outlined a series of lessons for rulers advocating for pragmatism over idealism. His advice was simple: leaders must do whatever is necessary to maintain control, even if that means abandoning morality or ethical standards. According to Machiavelli, a ruler's primary responsibility was the survival and stability of the state, and anything that served that goal was justified, even if it involved cruelty or deceit. Machiavelli's approach to leadership was grounded in a cold, hard view of human nature. People, he argued, are selfish, fickle, and driven by self-interest. They will not remain loyal to a ruler out of love or gratitude. Such sentiments are fleeting and unreliable. Instead, a ruler must make people fear them, because fear is the one thing that people cannot easily escape. This idea forms the foundation of his philosophy, Rulers must be both feared and respected, with fear being the more reliable motivator. One of the most enduring concepts in The Prince is Machiavelli's famous advice that a ruler must be like both a lion and a fox. The lion represents strength, power, and the ability to assert dominance, while the fox symbolizes cunning, intelligence, and the ability to navigate complex situations. According to Machiavelli, a successful ruler must combine these two traits. They must be capable of using force and intimidation when necessary, but also be able to deceive and manipulate when the situation demands it. This dual approach to leadership is one of the key elements that sets Machiavelli apart from other political thinkers of his time. Unlike thinkers such as Plato or Aristotle, who envisioned rulers as virtuous and just figures, Machiavelli was far more pragmatic. He understood that power is not easily gained or maintained through kindness and fairness. Instead, he believed that rulers must be prepared to act ruthlessly when necessary. Perhaps one of the most controversial aspects of Machiavelli's philosophy is his argument that rulers should prioritize fear over love. In The Prince, he famously writes, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." For Machiavelli, love is fickle, and people will often abandon their affections when their own interests are at stake. Fear, on the other hand, is far more reliable. If a ruler can instill fear in their subjects, they can ensure their loyalty, at least for as long as the fear is maintained. Machiavelli's ideas were shocking to many of his contemporaries. In 16th century Christian Europe, love and compassion were seen as virtues for rulers. The idea that fear and cruelty could be justified in the pursuit of power clashed with the era's moral and religious norms. However, Machiavelli wasn't defending tyranny. He was a political realist. He believed that since humans are driven by self-interest and betrayal, rulers could not rely solely on goodwill. Hesitation to use fear, he argued, would leave a ruler vulnerable to challenges. Machiavelli's political philosophy, often described as political realism, emphasized the harsh realities of power. Unlike earlier thinkers who envisioned rulers as virtuous, Machiavelli believed that effective leadership was about navigating power dynamics, not following ethical ideals. For him, the end justified the means. Machiavelli's influence is undeniable. His ideas have shaped political leaders, philosophers, and military strategists for centuries, though they remain controversial. His endorsement of manipulation and violence in politics has led some to label him a cynic, but his advice about pragmatism and the complexities of human nature continues to resonate today.